Spread lines on Super Bowl week. That's right, people. Sunday, 6:30 p.m., the biggest event in the sports landscape happens. It's Super Bowl 60. It's going to be between Seattle, yes, we know that, and the New England Patriots, of course. Seattle is the road team. The home team is New England. And yes, the opening lines were 4.5 as a favorite towards Seattle. And today on a Thursday, February 5th, they're still sitting at 4.5. The only line movement that we basically had was a 46.5 at the opening number in the total, down to a 45.5. And you guessed it, on Thursday, we're still sitting at 45.5. Only days away from Super Bowl Sunday. Joe Ranieri, what is your spread line on a Thursday for the big game?
Well, talked to the guys in the risk rooms again yesterday, Donnie, and they started to see, at least out west, a little bit last night, the volume start to pick up of bets. But today, beginning today and tomorrow and Saturday, if this spread is going to move, Donnie, it is likely going to be over the next 24 to 48 hours here. But in some of these rooms, Donnie, I am hearing that you're talking a 5 to 6 to 1 to count with these tickets being on Seattle. It's not a ton of sharp money just yet, but the public, 5 or 6 to 1, Donnie, is just hammering Seattle with the spread here. And yet we're still kind of hovering around that 5 mark, 4.5, 5. But there are still a lot of influential bettors sitting on the sideline, but now might be the time, and you're running out of time. If you like an over in this game, 45 consensus will be the lowest this number gets. It's only they're expecting to go up from here.
Let's get after it here. Super Bowl 60 on Sunday, 6:30 p.m. And I got to tell you, a little bit lackluster on the commercials so far, Joe Ranieri, as you're seeing some of these already on your TV screen that will be displayed on Sunday, some of these $10 million ads, and away we go. But the game will kick off at 6:30. The pomp, the circumstance, the pageantry, all going to take place in Santa Clara at Levi's Stadium. We started the show off talking once again, Joe, on those spread lines. The 4.5s, they haven't moved yet here. New England is the underdog. Seattle is the favorite in a total that sits at 45.5. Now, Joe, earlier in the week, we had 70% or so ticket count across multiple books that showed us that Seattle certainly being the heavy favorite. Went to 68% and now 66% in the market for ticket count on Seattle. So that is starting to come down. So I ask you this question again. Come Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, are we more likely to see the 4.5s or the 5s or back to 4s, Joe, on Sunday?
At that point, Donnie, it doesn't matter. 5 is not a key number.
Yeah.
It's a dead number. No game is going to land 5. 4.5 is it's in the same ballpark. So you're not really at this particular point dealing with, can we get an extra? Can we wait for a half a point one way or the other? Because it's not really going to make a difference. If you like Seattle, lay it with Seattle. If you like New England, take the points. It's that simple here. But the reality of the situation is you're going to have a half a point back and forth, Donnie. You're going to see, right now you're seeing more 4.5s than you are 5s in the market. The 5s are still there. Yeah. And I think you'll begin to see more 5s pop up. Then it'll come back down. So I think what you're seeing is what you're getting. The biggest move from the opening to now, this opening number, the biggest slight has been the total. The total has gotten more movement and more sharp money than anything else right now, because don't forget, this was 46.5. 45 is a key number in NFL totals. It was 46.5, and now we're seeing 45, 45.5. So that's been the biggest move, and we are likely going to see an even bigger move prior to kick, Donnie, because the public is never betting an under in a Super Bowl. It's always going to be the over, and that money has yet to hit the board.
How about those second half numbers here, Joe? You always take a look at, who's going to win the first quarter or the first half, but the adjustments will be made. A longer halftime here. Who's going to come out, Joe, with a better second half, do you feel? Seattle, -2.5 for the second half, and also a total listed at 22.5. Second half team, Joe, which one could it be?
Yeah, well, you got to ask yourself, Donnie, right? Like, which coaching staff do you think is better at making in-game adjustments? And they both have been very good this year in doing that. And we also know that New England all year long was a first-half team, Donnie. Nobody made you more money backing them in the first half than the New England Patriots, who I think only trailed at the half, Donnie, in one maybe 2 games, I think. That's it. I mean, they have been fantastic first half teams and then did enough in the second half to be able to hold on and eventually win the game. Both teams very good against the number this year. So I think, Donnie, it all depends. Who has got to actually take more chances in the second half, right? Who is down in the game and who's going to have to, can't be conservative. It's going to go a long way in deciding who wins the second half in the game.
Economic impacts, Joe. We always hear about it. Hey, give rich people free stuff and all the economic impact you get in your city and state. Look how much money you'll make. It never really turns out to be right, but the NFL does one thing correct for themselves. Whenever they go to a Super Bowl city, they let you bid on it. That's why it just doesn't make a rotation out here. Your city has to tell you, how much free stuff are you going to give the NFL to get this game here? And how about this? The stadium, hotel rooms, billboards, security, luxury suites, and 100% of the ticket sales and pay 0 taxes. That's what the NFL gets to have it in your stadium, in your city, in your stadium. By the way, Levi Stadium, the ugliest looking stadium in NFL history. I don't know what architecture firm designed that stadium. It is horrendous to look at.
Remember last time we had a Super Bowl there, remember the field was really good, held up very, very well. So let's hope, Donnie, all that money they're saving, they make sure this field is up to par for a Super Bowl. That's all I'm hoping for.
Get it all back here. How about this? No NFL head coach has ever taken over a team with a losing record and won the Super Bowl in his first year. Vrabel can be the first guy to do that. It's a shame Gerard Mayo didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, no, because this is really not his team in any way, shape, or form. But you got to listen, coaching matters in the NFL. It's a coaching league. The NBA, not so much, but definitely the NFL. And when you get the right guy in the right situation, look at what can happen in 1 year, Donnie. Unreal.
Certainly can happen. We'll see if they can pull off the minor upset on Sunday afternoon. More news and notes getting you right up to kickoff for Super Bowl 60. Keep it here on the early line and the SportsGrid Network. We're ready for the action. We are. Did you know, Joe Ranieri, that the New England Patriots could be the first team to win 7 Super Bowls as a franchise? They're currently tied with the Pittsburgh Steelers with 6. And as I look at this graph and I go, the Dallas Cowboys with 5, does that actually count? Like, if you haven't won one like 30 years, like that should be on the list here. But it is amazing to see, like the Vikings, the Bills, the Bengals, the Falcons, the Cardinals, the Titans, the Browns, the Jaguars, the Chargers, the Texans, the Panthers, and the Lions have never won a Super Bowl championship. It's kind of crazy. Like the Super Bowl has been around, Joe. This is the 60th interpretation of it. There's 32 teams, and some have never won them. A majority, it feels like, have never won a Super Bowl. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, kind of crazy. I mean, and you had that era too, Donnie, where, dynasties were prevalent, right? You had the 49ers.
Yeah.
You had one stretch there and a couple decades where it was just the 49ers and the Cowboys going back and forth, right? Mix in the Giants in a couple of years, and it was just, that was that, right? Because you were able to hoard your players here. And then, we kind of got the old salary cap thing and everything else going on. And now all of a sudden, it was harder to keep players. And, there was a time, Donnie, where the idea that Matt Stafford would ever play for another team outside of Detroit, that didn't happen. But obviously now it is happening, and that is why maybe you're starting to see a few unexpected teams show up. But there are some organizations, Donnie, where, it might be another 50 years before they even sniff anything even close to a Super Bowl.
But I got to tell you, when you look at that list there, the team that doesn't get enough guff for being on there is San Francisco with their 5. Like, they're just as bad as the Dallas Cowboys, but don't get nearly the amount of vitriol that the Dallas, you've never won anything. Like, it's been eons since San Francisco's won a damn thing here. So it's kind of funny to see them with 5, with having come up empty, 30-plus years for them as well. If we look at this, Joe, the bets are going to start coming in the later the week comes and the big fish start to come to town. How about this? $725,000 on the New England Patriots money line at a plus 195 there. Bet would win $1.4 million and is a hedge from the same bettor who wagered $50K on the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl at 60-1 odds. He's hedging out, Joe, taking that paycheck.
Yeah, why not? I mean, get in and get out, Donnie, right? Hedging. That's what it is all about. And we have had, 7-figure bets here that have come in on the Seahawks and the Patriots. We know good old Mattress Mac alive and well, dropping $2 million, right, on the Seahawks. But, isn't it amazing, Donnie? You get these 7-figure bets and the line doesn't move.
Nope.
Why is that? Oh, yeah. Maybe it's because if you're betting 7 figures on this game, chances are the books don't think you're all that sharp. They're more than happy to take that $1 million bet from you because they know, yeah, this is likely not going to happen.
Isn't it funny? There's a couple guys out there, Joe, to walk into a casino, put $1,500 down, and be extremely respected. Like, we have to watch this line, and then you can walk
Yep.
in with $725,000, and then they go,
Yep. And not
all
moving
right.
an inch.
And God bless our buddy
Yeah.
Dave Sherapan used to always tell me at this point,
Yep.
like, bettors would come in there so square, 725 and get plus 195, and then they would flash the
Yep.
board at plus 205 right after. Like, you want another 725,000 at a better price than you just got it? We'll take it again for you at this point. It is
Yep.
hilarious how some things happen in Vegas and who's respected and who's not respected at this point here. Talking about being respected here, how about the two quarterbacks lining up? I expect a healthy Super Bowl from both of these quarterbacks, and we've been previewing these numbers all week long. Drake May was 20.5. He's now up, Joe. Here we go, to 21.5. And Darnold's still hanging around 228 at this point. The quarterbacks, hopefully healthy for Super Bowl Sunday. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and it looks like they are. The oblique injury, I think we actually heard from Sam Darnold, and he said, no, it's much better now that he's had some time. So that's going to be good. The shoulder issue, not going to be a shoulder issue there with Drake May. We know that. And listen, I think this was part of the reason why they built in an extra week, Donnie, because it never used to be like that back in the day. You know, the Cowboys and the 49ers era there, where that's all who ended up winning. Don't forget, I mean, it was 1 week out, and boom, you're playing that big game. But now guys have a couple of weeks here, and, you know, before that, have an opportunity to rest up a little bit, and I think they're better off for it.
No, you're right about this too, because like they like to have the build up to the pomp and circumstance for the
Right.
Super Bowl media week and build it all up to that and then have a Super Bowl. And it does get big ratings at that point. But I do like the fact that you're building a de facto bye week. Like, I understand if you're a football team oh man, I can't believe we get an extra week and that guy had a banged up ankle. Like, that's not the point. You're playing for a championship here. You want both of the teams as healthy as possible on the biggest stage to provide the best product you can and a legitimate chance to win a championship. And I'm glad the NFL does that. Running back props here. Seems like it starts with Kenneth Walker III at 73.5. That number's down from his opening number. But how about this, Joe? Ramondre Stevenson's still sitting just under 50 at 49.5. But now, Travion Henderson, 17.5 yesterday, up to 18.5 today. So some minor movement. And also, Drake May, quarterback, Joe, earlier in the week, 36.5 was his prop. He's now 37.5.
Yeah, we've seen those seem to be the popular ones, right, Donnie? We seem to have we're fading Walker rushing props. They did last week also, don't forget, against that Rams defense. So it should not come as a necessarily a big surprise to anybody that is what happened. But I think the Drake May rushing prop also getting a ton of love. I don't understand the Travion. I didn't understand it at 17.5, Donnie, and 18.5 to me is still a ton of value. I mean, you're looking at a guy that throughout the season averaged, his number was about 46.5 rushing yards a game. That's what his prop was during the season. And he's the home run hitter. Is he not for New England? He's the guy that could get that in one run. So I don't understand where they came up with that number there. It feels like there's some value with Travion Henderson.
It does. There's something that we don't know where the Patriots are like, oh, this guy's got a devastating ankle injury. We're just going to hide it and maybe you still have to game plan for him. Because you're right about this. It wasn't as if he was coming on late in the season like, oh, he could be good. Like, he's had some solid games. When we say solid games, he should be getting at least 5 carries in this game. And if Henderson gets 4 to 5 carries, you'll take it at 17.5. Go, hey, if he went 4 carries and got 9 yards, so be it. But you're right, Joe. He's a big play threat, which means the chance of him getting a 10-plus yard carry absolutely will be there. We'll find out his usage rate come Super Bowl Sunday this weekend here. Receiving props, Jackson Smith and Jigba, way at the top of that list. 93.5 is his prop. Stephon Diggs at 44.5. Those are the 2 high watermarks. And then a lot of value down the board depending on who you're going to get here, Joe.
Yeah, it would be a fade for me, too, for JSN, Donnie, because you know where the public is going, right? The public is going to, and that number will likely increase here. They are just, here's the problem, though. New England knows this, and New England has something the Rams didn't, guys, and that's a shutdown corner in Christian Gonzalez. So I can assure you they will want anybody and everybody to beat them outside of JSN in this game, especially deep. So take away that target and see what Sam Darnold and company have left in the tank. I think that's what Vrabel and company are going to be looking for.
Cooper Kupp's listed prop is 32.5. We got Cooper Kupp talking about his Super Bowl journey right now.
My journey to be here has had a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of times where, like I said, I've been lonely. I've been by myself. I've been in the weight room by myself. I felt like there's not really people alongside me, and all the doubts and all of hearing lies and things that are spoken over you and into your life. And for me, the faith that I had, the belief that I had, because I had this belief that the things that I was doing were for a greater purpose than myself, and there was a point behind it, the joy that I felt playing this game, just because it felt like I was just made to do it, and being able to glorify God through that. It's like, man, that is going to make it all worth it. And so it sustained me through all the highs and all the lows. So yeah, truly wouldn't be here today without it.
By the way, looking at that clip, and we're going to talk about this after the break, Joe, that was from media night. The difference in the stark contrast between the last 3 media nights and this media night, did they have them in like a shoebox where nobody was able to attend or ask any questions? We got questions, people. We want to get them answered next. See a lot of complaints on social media about like, hey, what's the Super Bowl doing in San Francisco? Well, technically the game isn't in San Francisco. It's just that OK Bay area, which is an hour and a half away to Santa Clara. But I thought one of the interesting is like the NFL's opening night, which is what they used to call it, which is media night, which means both teams in the building, the media gets a look at it, but also they let fans in to watch. In the past couple of years in dome stadiums, they've done it right on premises. Now, last year we were on the floor in New Orleans at the Superdome. And let me tell you, Joe, we went from the convention center where they bust all the media in for media night there, but the fans were allowed in. The entire lower bowl of the Superdome was completely filled with Eagles and Chiefs fans here. Pomp, circumstance, bands, performances, loud music, like on the floor of the Superdome, which they roped off the field itself, but around it were all the booths and you can get to the players. Couldn't even move. You could, and if you wanted to ask a question to Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, or let's just say Jalen Hurts, you couldn't get near their booth at all. And we just watched a clip from Cooper Kupp, who was the Super Bowl MVP, and it looked like not a single person was at the venue. And you might ask why? Well, if you have the media at the Moscone Center in San Francisco, the Super Bowl in Santa Clara, and then for a random night you say, oh yeah, by the way, guys, go from San Francisco all the way to San Jose for this night here, nobody was there.
No. And a lot of the people aren't flying in on the Monday, Donnie, right? They're going to get there late Monday, early Tuesday, but there is nothing convenient about any of it, Donnie, to try, especially from a media perspective, unless you are employing and sending, 3 different groups of reporters at 3 different locations that just because that's almost what it takes to cover it correctly. But you got to pick and choose your battles, right? When you're there. So, all right, I really don't want to drive an hour and a half here to get up and watch the same old. So I'll just stay where I am. Nothing about this is convenient in any way, shape, or form.
Like, and even like it's supposed to be like a fan event as well, where the fans get to see the players and get to enjoy, and you see the Super Bowl trophy. They introduce the players on each side. I don't even know if they did that, because the simple fact is, when we were in New Orleans last year, like the fans were in New Orleans downtown, and the Superdome was right downtown. Hey guys, we're in town early. Let's go over to this fan event. Let's go have some fun. Same thing if you were in Las Vegas. Like, it was right at the stadium, which is across from the Strip. Hey, we're in town to party. Let's go check this out. Fast forward to this year, it's like, well, we're going to fly into San Francisco, but then we got to rent a car for an hour away to San Jose to try to get in, and there's not really any pomp and circumstance. That's why the fans weren't there. And also, Joe, the Pro Bowl games, it's like, okay, they're in the city. Well, they're in San Francisco. Are they in San Jose? Are they going to be in Santa Clara at this point? That's why there was 3 people watching that event as well.
Yeah. And affordability, Donnie. I mean, you're going to one of the most expensive parts of the country where hotel rooms are going to be 10 times what they were for New Orleans. Vegas, you can have you being there, Donnie, you know this. I mean, you have a lot of different opportunities to stay at different levels and pricing, but in San Francisco, like pick your poison.
Yeah.
Where are you staying? So you staying in San Jose? Staying in that whole area is to just hang out for 7 days leading up to the game. I would imagine you start to see more folks start coming in fan wise today, tomorrow, and Saturday. But yeah, I did the idea that they are going to be flocking there like New Orleans and hanging out, partying on the street. I just don't think that was realistic this year.
Like if you are a fan, and let's just say you're going to the Super Bowl for the first time, like, hey, I'm going to go see my Patriots fly in from Logan all the way out to the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go to San Francisco and then drive an hour and a half? Or do you go in that party capital of the world, Santa Clara, and take in all the Applebee's? Like, what do you do as a fan?
Yeah, well, you don't. What you do is you stop in, you fly to Vegas, you get out, and you go to one of the books in there, and there you go. It's much. You're going to enjoy it better than anybody on the ground in San Francisco. I can assure you of that.
News and notes around the NFL, Joe. Yeah, and yes, you being a Jets fan, Frank Wright, he is here to solve all of your offensive issues with what quarterback? Brady Cook? Who even knows at this point? But Big Frank's coming to town. By the way, he's got a ring on that finger from the Philadelphia Eagles 2017 Super Bowl season, Joe. Come on now. Show some respect.
Yeah, my question, Donnie, is that I thought, looking at it, I was like, oh, so they got a quarterback. Because maybe Frank Wright can play quarterback for the Jets, because I'm willing to bet he would be better than anybody they currently have employed on this roster right now for the Jets. So kudos, Frank Wright. I mean, you did coach Stanford last year, which was a total train wreck of a school and a program there. So, apparently he's just going train wreck to train wreck here and seeing if he can be the conductor and try to keep the flames down. But good luck there, Frank. Let's see what you have for a quarterback to work with this year.
By the way, let's keep it with quarterbacks here. I got to get to this next story because this is everything that's wrong with college football. What was wrong, Joe, with you got 5 years to play 4, you get a red shirt, you want to transfer, you're going to sit out. Everybody knew the rules of the game. And now we find out Tennessee quarterback Joey Aguilar has been granted a temporary restraining order against the NCAA. A restraining order against an organization, not a person.
Yeah. Isn't that great, Donnie? We just talked about this, right, with Charles Bediako and for college basketball. And why not, right? If you're a football player and you're seeing, well, this guy actually got to leave college, go play in the pros, and then come back to be to college, and all he's doing is hammering these lawsuits and these restraining orders, and he's still playing basketball at Alabama. Why not? Why can't I get another year of eligibility? Donnie, you've let the genie out of the bottle, Donnie, and there is no way you're putting that back in unless you just draw the line in the sand and end it for all. But that is not going to happen anytime soon.